This is your tech news briefing for Monday, July 11th. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Elon Musk says he no longer wants to buy Twitter. In a regulatory filing late last Friday, the CEO of Tesla claimed Twitter failed to share enough information about fake accounts on its platform, violating the terms of the $44 billion deal. But walking away won't be that simple. Just as Musk had to fight to get the deal with Twitter, now he'll have a battle on his hands to get out of it. Joining us to discuss what that will look like and where it leaves Twitter is our social media reporter, Deepa Seetharaman. Deepa, great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
So Deepa, Musk has been questioning the number of bot accounts that Twitter reports for the past few weeks, and we've talked about his views on that question before. So let's start with Twitter's reaction. What has the company said about Musk's plan to walk away from the deal?
So the Twitter board has signaled that they are very eager to continue this deal, and specifically at the price and terms that were previously laid out back in April when this deal was announced. So they officially would like to push forward. And that is something that the CEO and the general counsel have been telling employees behind the scenes per our reporting. So they're not just letting Elon walk away. They're going to put up a fight.
Yeah, I mean, big M&A deals like this aren't just something that you walk away from. I mean, even if he does dissolve the deal, are there penalties that Musk might expect to have to deal with?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's, first of all, $1 billion breakup fee, like at minimum, based on the terms of the acquisition agreement with Twitter. But, the deal doesn't give him a lot of leeway to walk away and only pay that $1 billion breakup fee. And it isn't clear whether his complaints about Twitter are enough to let him get away with just that fee. And on top of it, Twitter has the right to try to force him to follow through on the acquisition. There's a provision where they can actually force him to buy the company at the agreed upon price. There might be a third way that some analysts are talking about, which is a larger settlement. But what that looks like, how that could help either party, those are all questions that are still up in the air. We just don't know what the final outcome will be, but he's not going to be able to walk away and not pay anything.
Right, and of course the offer price, $44 billion, that was a premium over what Twitter was valued at when he made the offer. It's certainly higher than its stock price now, but you mentioned timing. As this deal has been worked out, Twitter has been undergoing a lot of changes, staffing and cost cutting. What is morale like in Twitter right now?
Morale over the last several months has been pretty choppy, and it's chaotic. In a lot of corners, morale has been very low. Elon has attacked a lot of Twitter executives by name and Twitter employees, especially those that are working in what they call health, what other companies called integrity divisions. These are the divisions that are tasked with making Twitter a more hospitable place to discourse and a safer place for discourse. And they have felt attacked by Musk over the last several months because he has raised a lot of questions and doubts about what they're trying to do, whether it's appropriate, and basically kind of mocked the idea of content moderation, among other things. They have felt like he doesn't respect what these divisions do, and as a result, morale has been pretty low in those departments. There is a subset of Twitter employees who have been pretty excited about Musk. This is a company, Twitter is a company that has been kind of lagging its peers for a long time in terms of its ability to grow and generate profits, even though it is arguably the most important social network in the world in terms of its influence. It punches way above its weight in terms of its ability to shape global events relative to its size. And so there's always been this feeling within the company of there's a mismatch. Like Twitter has so much potential, but we can't seem to capitalize on it.
Right. This whole deal has really put Twitter under a spotlight. So where will they be left if Elon Musk does walk away?
That is sort of a major question. There is a feeling, I think, within the company that the last few months have drained them of talent and productivity and focus. So that's going to be a really difficult thing to come back from and recover from. But on top of it, I talked to this one former Twitter executive, and he mentioned that when the board agreed to this deal with Elon, they said that this was the best possible outcome for shareholders, and this was the best possible outcome for the company. And then if you remember Jack Dorsey, who was then on the board and, had just left as CEO of the company, described Elon as the, quote, singular solution I trust to run Twitter. I mean, those kinds of comments have sent a signal to advertisers, to investors, to employees that this was Twitter's best option. And so now that Musk is planning to walk away and the entire deal is in serious jeopardy, the feeling is, well, what happens to Twitter? Because we've already said that this was our best hope. And now that that's gone, they have to go at it alone. There's this feeling of starting from the ground up, rebuilding from the ground up. And I think there's a lot of concern within the company and among some of the senior executives who've left or were part of the company during its early days that Twitter is in a much more difficult spot now than it was back in April when this whole saga started, because the economy has weakened. So there's like a real feeling of confusion and frustration and uncertainty within the company. And a lot of people are asking, so what was all this for?
I feel like I say this every time we talk about the deal, but certainly a lot for us to keep watching. That's our reporter, Deepa Seetharaman. Thanks for joining us, Deepa.
Thanks for having me, Zoe.
And that's it for today's Tech News Briefing. If you want more tech stories, check out our website, wsj.com. And if you like our show, please rate and review it. You can do that wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening.